Hello, 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 and welcome to Couch Chats with Corey and Courtney.
Hello.
I'm Corey.
I'm Courtney.
And today on the show, we have two really cool friends right down here, Justin and Alex. Hello, friends. How are you?
Hi.
Hi. So tell us, boys, where are you broadcasting from?
We're broadcasting from our couch in New York City.
And how long have you lived in said couch in New York City?
Well, it feels like I've lived on this couch for about 100 years today.
Right.
We've lived on this couch together for 4.5 years,
4 years.
but I've been in New York for over 16 years.
Wow.
12, I think, something like that. 12 or 13.
So crazy.
Odd. What brought you to New York, Alex? What brought you there?
Well, my family moved from California to the Midwest, and I was like, no offense, Midwest. I was like, I don't want to go to Indiana because I don't know anybody there. And so I was like, my best friend was moving to New York to go to musical theater school, and I was like, I think that's a great idea. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
I came to the theater.
And I know that some of our listeners already know this about you, Justin, but what took you up there as well?
I came because I had been working successfully as an actor in Kansas City for a while, and then I just all of a sudden didn't have a contract coming, and I had a lease that was up in my apartment, and I had friends who needed a roommate in New York, so I just moved. I just do
Opportunity knocked, and you both answered, I guess, right?
Really, when you get that opportunity to move to New York, it's sort of like you have to take the leap. And so we took the leap.
Well, I'm glad you guys did. Did you guys know? You guys did not know each other before, right? You met in New York.
Oh yeah, we've been together for 7 years. So and we met then.
Cool. Yeah. Whenever we're not in a pandemic, what do you do every day, Mr. Alex?
Well, I'm a bartender. I mean, I would love to say that I'm still an actor, but I haven't worked in a while just because I kind of like gave it up. I put it on the shelf for a few years. So I bartend mostly. And yeah. And, I get to go outside and breathe in fresh air, which I don't get to do now. Not as much.
When were you officially told you can't come and bartend anymore? How long ago was that?
That was, so on Friday, March 13th, I worked the night before, the 12th, and I came down with a small fever on the 13th, and I was kind of ill that weekend, so I was like, they told us, if you're not feeling well, don't come to work, we'll get your shifts covered, no big deal. And our business was taking like a huge downturn because everybody was being told to stay at home. Sure. And then we got the word that Monday. They were like, that's it, we're closing our doors. Yeah. So I guess that would have been the 16th. And,
yeah, a lot of things seem to kind of fall between like sort of that Friday, that March 13th, and definitely it seemed like everything was sort of shut down by that Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, we sort of landed in those kind of 3 or 4 days, it was just crazy. And during that, you guys decided to maybe start this quarantine drive-in. What episode are we on that?
It was funny because I was sitting there because I wasn't feeling well that weekend, and I was like watching movies and, relaxing on the couch, and I put out a thing to everybody because I saw people posting on Facebook, like, I don't think my job is going to reopen. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I was like, hey, does anybody want to have a movie night because we're all at home? And, our sort of creative, industrious brains, we were like, well, let's make it a real thing. So, I put together a poster and I started a Facebook group, and I was like, let's just add everybody and see what happens. And it kind of took off from there.
What's your member count as of today?
1215, something like that. 1215, I think. Yeah. So, and we grow by a few every day, which is nice.
Are you guys able to know how many people are tuning in during that? Do you guys like have a ticker on the side?
Yeah, so we go live before the movies, and we can see how many people are watching from each show. And I would say the average about, I don't know, somewhere between like 30 to 45 people per show.
Yeah.
Some more than others. And then we go live in between movies and we go live afterwards. And usually the in-between show has the highest viewership, I think, because it probably lines up time zone wise a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a pretty
good
show.
The wigs, guys.
Also the wigs. The wigs are quite a draw. Yeah.
Wig intermission really just kind of like brings them out.
Yeah, I think the thing that you guys provide for most of those 1,250 is a hangover the next day.
we claim no responsibility for such things. We put the drinking games out there. If you want to play, that's totally up to you.
Yeah.
But yes, we have had a couple hangovers, which a hangover when you don't go out is really, really upsetting.
Right. You're like, I earned this at home. Right.
Yeah, because you really know then that you did it to yourself. Can't blame it on the bartender.
Oh my gosh. So, Mr. JVP, what have you been doing while you've been in quarantine? Singing a lot of show tunes, I hope, maybe?
Really, it's funny as I really haven't been singing a whole lot, actually. I've been prepping for Unicorn and Coterie auditions coming up, the virtual auditions, which is weird, but whatever. Right. I've been doing my own show. I've been doing Friday Night Fright Fests on Friday with really cheesy old horror films after Drag Race, because I know it's important to people.
It is.
And then I've been drawing a lot. I've had like 7-8 commissions go out in the past few weeks, which is amazing. I'm thrilled about it. So it's sort of the time for all of those things I constantly complain about not having time to do. Now I have time to do it. So I'm trying to like be on top of most of it. I've had a couple days where I've completely unproductive and just sat around and eaten.
And that's important. You know, a lot of people talk about the fact of like, don't necessarily try to fill all of your 24 hours because you didn't do that before. So why would you torture yourself to try and stay onto some sort of routine? But man, I try to fill as many of those hours with little projects that I can during the day because I feel like I will go stir crazy in this house, you know? It's crazy.
I mean, a couple days ago, I was just like, I need something to do. So like, I had a plaid shirt that had a little bleach spots on it. So I like tie-dye bleached it. And then I hung plants in my window in my kitchen and I organized some shit. And I don't know if you've been watching Friday Night Fright Fest, but we have the shop monster now and we have, you know, a costume. Well, this coming Friday, we'll have the shop monstress. So you'll see what that looks like. So we were only using one glove, so now we have two. So the production value just ups and ups every single time on the show.
I love that, like, you know, as I think we sort of said before this started, you know, like how good can a Zoom call actually be in quality sometimes? Everyone sort of gets that frozen, like, weird face halfway through or something. So, like, have you guys been outside of your apartment? Do you go out to get food, or what's kind of like your outside of your apartment routine right now?
It's quick. Like we do just grocery runs basically, and like once a week or so, varying. I mean,
I mean, we're trying to do our part to socially distance ourselves from others, and you know, it's tough in a city like New York because sidewalks are only so big, and you know, a lot of people still have to go to work. And I mean, you know, right now, not having to necessarily go to work is kind of a luxury. I mean, you know, it's weird to say that, but it is. So we're trying to respect the fact that some people are out because they have no other choice. So if we're going to go out, you know, we wear our masks, we wear gloves, we go straight to the grocery store, we come back. Or if, you know, we're going out for fresh air, we try to keep our space or try to go to places where there aren't as many people. And that's about it, you know?
Do you guys wear masks when you go outside just to walk around and do that?
It's difficult to maintain 6 feet of space from people, especially in our neighborhood where people just kind of think that they're the only ones who live here. So it's just sort of like, you know, it's tough. So we just try to like take every precaution possible.
I've heard there are a lot of streets closed down. Is that so that people can get further away from each other? Is that true everywhere, or is that?
They've been talking about doing that. Yeah, I don't know officially. I didn't watch the press conference today. I know as of yesterday, it's been mandated that we have to wear masks when we leave the house, if we're going to be within 6 feet of other people. But I've heard that they were going to be shutting down some of the streets to allow for more space.
That's what they're talking about here too.
It would be nice actually, because, you know, like I said, the sidewalks are only so big, and where we are, we can walk to parks, but everybody has the idea to go to a park. So you end up going to the park and you're like, wow, it's really bustling here.
Right.
You're like, where the hell were all of you guys 6 months ago? Like, no one was out in the park then.
Oh, I've never taken Central Park for granted. I mean, I feel like I always took Central Park for granted now. We walked all the way down there one day, and I was like, oh my God, this is what my soul needed. I needed trees. I needed to hear birds.
Well, we walked from 182nd Street to 59th Street to Columbus Circle, that's a long.
Wow.
Well, I mean, what the hell else are you gonna do? You know, in some ways, that was your daily activity, if not your weekly activity.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
It definitely was.
What have you been doing, Miss Perry, since we all saw each other last week?
Oh.
You're making feelings monsters.
I did make feelings monsters.
They're so
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah. Of course, now I've gotten lots of requests from her to make other things, so we'll see what I'm going to run out of.
I'm doing nothing else, so I mean.
I'm definitely going to run low on supplies. Really just school and working our way through all of the SBA stuff, and we're going through our internal audit still at the Arts Asylum and trying to navigate all of the new things. We just got our order to stay in extended this morning at like 6 o'clock. And
they dropped that like a Beyonce album at like 4 o'clock.
Like 5:45 in the morning. I was like, okay, well, I guess that's the deal. We've been doing some walks. It has unfortunately taken another downturn in the weather here. It was like last week, I think this day, it was like almost 90, and it's supposed to snow this afternoon. So that's always good. There's yet another tick against the Midwest. And so we'll see. It's been an interesting few days in, because it has been such a weird roller coaster of weather. It was like nice on Monday and nice on Sunday, but then not in the afternoon. It was a very strange. I found myself sitting on the porch with my Alex, and I was stitching, and we were like swinging, and there was like a storm coming in, and I was like, wow, I feel like Mark Twain should definitely be narrating this. Like, I don't understand what's happening right now.
I saw the video of that storm. I was very jealous. I think Katie took some video.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good storm coming in. It was definitely one of those Mark Twainables. We'll just use that. Just skip over the fact that I just said that. And that I can't edit this podcast anymore.
Right. I was supposed to be going to see Cher this Saturday, and then hopping on a plane that night for a red eye to fly to Denver so I could be in Colorado on 4/20 for the National Pot Smoking Day. And so instead, I'll have to celebrate at home. How about that? Yeah.
We'll be celebrating privately.
Yeah, we'll have it privately. But that's kind of, without like being depressive, like it's kind of, we're really getting into some of those things that I was like, that we were looking forward to, like rehearsal starting for the boys in the band and like Cher and all of these things. And so you're really starting to, I have more scratch outs and like Zoom meetings written into to something than I did for any of the exciting things that I was planning to do before. But I haven't quite figured if it's good for me to like reminisce about the events that I missed, to still sort of keep positive, or if I should just like shut the fuck up and be like, nope, the world sucks, kind of. It's a weird like balance for me.
Yeah, it's weird how moods can shift on a dime these days. Yeah. You don't realize what being inside your house for so long will do to you. Yeah. And then it's like I'll be sitting on the couch and I'll be in a great mood, and then suddenly I'm like up on my feet and I'm like, I have to be doing something. Yes. Like him more so. All of a sudden he'll just bolt out of the chair and he'll be like, I have to do something. We have to do something right now. I have to leave. We have to go.
Were you guys a pretty busy household before this started? Were you like coming and going all the time? Or did you sort of have levels of calm in your lives?
I mean, I think we both worked about 4 days a week. And so when I was out for the day, I'd be out at the gym and then to work, and then I'd be gone all day long. So, and then on my days off, I would still go to the gym, so I'd still be out and about doing some things. So sitting down is weird for me. Mm-hmm. Same. It's really odd. I mean, I can do it for a couple hours, but then like on my 6th episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, I'm like, I can't. I've got to get the fuck up. I can't do this right now.
That was me with Grace and Frankie. We had stopped it for a while, and now we're pushing through Grace and Frankie. And at some point, I'm like, I don't know what like attitude I'm supposed to be in. I feel like I've watched 6 hours of just Lily Tomlin be a stoned hippie. Like it's insane.
I mean, we hadn't watched any of this season of Schitt's Creek, so we kind of just like zoomed right through that. And now it's like, well, I got nothing else to. We've been binging RuPaul's Drag Race UK, and it's not great.
What is the biggest difference? You know, what don't you like about it that you do like about our American version?
I mean, European drag queens are just, they're different. It's a different breed of queen. They're not really, by and large, like look queens. They're performance queens. Right. I feel like a lot of drag in the UK and Europe comes out of theater. And a lot of drag here comes out of like ballroom and rock and roll, and it's a little more varied here. I know it is varied in the UK, but most of it is like a lot of them sing live, and they're not really like Instagram queens particularly.
Right.
So it's a very different. I mean, they're all really funny in like Snatch Game because they're actors, you know. They're not just like, here's my 16 looks on Instagram and I host bottles in Vegas and that's all I do. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
And we all know those queens too.
Yeah, we do.
Well, Mr. Alex, we get to have part of our little like question and answer
session for you,
which is something that since you're the new, you know, Couch Chats guest, I know some of Justin's, but hopefully we'll find a couple that you both get to answer this time as well. But I'll start with my first and favorite one. What is your definition of real magic, Alex?
My definition of real magic? Wow, well, these are deep questions.
They're not all that
only
deep.
From Corey. They're only.
I'm not that awake. I've only had this much coffee.
They're not all that deep.
My sleep schedule is like wake up at 1 p.m. You got to cut me some slack here.
Right.
Definition of real magic. I would say I'll say this. Anytime as an adult that you get to tap back into something that brought you like a lot of joy as a kid, I feel like when you have that excited feeling that you had, because you know when you watch kids play, their imaginations are running wild. They're losing it over anything, and I feel like as adults we're so in our heads about everything that when you can let that go and you get that real joyful excitement, I think that's real magic.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's why it's like my favorite question, because literally people there's never like a negative answer to that. Someone's not like, you know what real magic is, you know, killing someone. Like they're
as in like, okay,
now listen, this call is over.
Right. Miss Perry, your question.
All right, well, on the killing someone note, you are a new addition to the crayon box. What color are you and why?
What color am I? Oh man, if we were going with like my favorite color combination, I would be some sort of like blue and orange combo. Like the bike I just got is blue and orange.
Nice.
I'm really excited. So what would it be called? Blorange.
Blorange. To that point, did you both own a bicycle prior to this pandemic, or is that a purchase that happened during
the purchase?
Yeah. I haven't had a bike since I was 12, probably.
Yeah, same. That's just like riding a bike. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
We didn't have the space.
Like between me, like when I finally got my ass back out there riding a bike, I felt like I was some sort of walrus, like on something. Like I couldn't do anything. I'm like, there's a speed change. Like, how do people do this? I gave up, but I'm gonna maybe buy a better bike, because if I'm gonna take this seriously, it needs to maybe not be some 1994 like mountain bike that I had.
I got a bike last year, and it's just a giant tricycle with a basket on the back, and it's fantastic because you don't have to really remember how to ride a bike. It's great.
Great.
And I can carry things. I can take picnics in my back basket, or Violet gets in there sometimes. It's very easy. She's really slow on her bike, so sometimes I just toss her into the back of mine.
Her bike is tough. Doesn't she have the one that's like really hard to pedal?
Yeah, she does. Yeah, Isabel's gotten a new bike. Violet is, well, and now she doesn't really like to be in my tricycle basket anymore, because Isabel took her in it and then took a turn really quickly and like took the whole thing out. But like a true devoted sister, she just like jumped ship and let it go. Violet ended up like in the garage, and yeah, she was like, "Ooh, that seemed bad. Let's get away from that." Yeah. So.
Oh, poor thing. The trust is gone. You're good. The trust is gone.
Yeah, and she hasn't really felt the necessity to get dressed really just at all through the entirety of this quarantine. She has been naked with a robe on for pretty much the whole time. So she doesn't spend as much time outside as Isabel does. She refuses to put on clothes.
Violet and Mitchell.
That's right, Violet and Mitchell. They're hanging out.
Violet's fine.
Yes.
A question for both of you. What is the first thing you want to do when all of this is over with?
I want Mexican food.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want really good Mexican food.
Yeah.
And a margarita.
I mean, I wish I could get it from Jalapenos, but I can't. Yeah.
It's difficult. That stuff does not travel as well as I want it to. We tried to do Chewy's and it just, I was like, I didn't realize how much of that was just eating in the restaurant, that had nothing to do with the meal necessarily.
Yeah. And I can't wait to get back there. So, I mean, that's September, God willing.
That was the hard part of this week, was looking at all of your flight notifications, because Justin was supposed to be here this week. And I was like, oh, flight notifications, those are still in my calendar and should be removed. Sad story.
Well, I have that audition, so cross your fingers, I'll be there a lot more.
Yes. Yeah. I hope you are. That means we might get to see Alex more too.
That's right.
I might even audition.
I think you
never know.
I'm pushing for that to happen.
Yes.
Really hard.
All right, Miss Perry, a question from you.
All right, you are invisible for 24 hours. What do you do with your time?
Is this a family show or?
No. Ask Katie G what her answer was.
Katie G wants to see all the naked men in the locker room. That's what she wants to do.
Yeah, I can do that and not be invisible. So I guess that's not. I guess that's out. If I was invisible for 24 hours, my God, I don't even know.
I would take my happy ass to Washington with a tape recorder and record everything and broadcast it live everywhere I could possibly.
I know.
That's what I would do.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. Ironically, I'm pretty sure it's been about a year since you were on the couch, and I think that was your answer the last time too. He has not made it any better for anyone to want to.
He has made it worse for sure. It's weird that he's our leader. Yes. Isn't that leader?
Yeah. Big air quotes on that one.
Right. What has been both of your guys' favorite quarantine object in your apartment that you didn't know before that you're now using more than you ever did before? And remember, this is not a kid show.
I've ordered a couple of those.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever gotten so much use out of our printer or the vacuum
or the coffee maker.
Oh, the coffee maker, baby.
Yeah.
That $30 Mr. Coffee has been an absolute lifesaver. If tomorrow you were like, you have to get rid of your husband or Mr. Coffee, which is it? I'd be like,
bye, I'll see you in Kansas City.
I also realized that I
enjoy Mr. Coffee.
I have been wasting thousands of dollars on coffee a year. I'm sure of it, because a huge thing of Folgers was like $5, and we've gotten 3 weeks of coffee out of it.
Oh yeah. Courtney and I were talking about that, because Courtney and I normally have breakfast together every morning whenever we get to see each other in like human form, in real life. And we have I haven't had breakfast really with anyone for like 5 weeks, because my husband goes to work like every morning, and so we were just looking at our like checking account and to be like, holy shit, like I actually like am almost making money in this quarantine because I'm not spending money. It's weird.
It's we for our shows and stuff, we get like a handle of Evan Williams every week and a half or so, and that's $30 when like normally we can go out to drink and each one of us will spend $60-$70 a piece just going out drinking.
On the low end.
On the low end for sure. So like we're spending almost no money.
Right.
I have a theory that in New York City you can't leave the house without spending $50. It's not really a theory. It's a pretty universal truth. If I walk out the house, $50 disappears from my bank account no matter what. Yeah. So it's kind of weird to come out ahead on because we're not going anywhere. We're not doing anything.
It shows like it kind of puts the question of will we all stay this way and be, for lack of a better word, frugal, or do you think that we'll just go the other way and spend like all of our money?
Everyone else to make me coffee.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like certain luxuries will creep their way back in because that's just the way. I mean, those are the things you need to like keep you going when you're really out there hustling and bustling. Yeah. But some things I'm like, I need to learn from this. What can I glean from this experience?
I mean, the biggest thing is the coffee. Like, there's no reason we can't just take coffee with us during the day. It's just like, it's not a thing.
Yeah, but a nice latte is going to be really exceptional at the end of this.
But what it will be.
Yeah. You can treat yourself, but I mean, that you and I, Courtney, will just have to like figure those things out when this is all over with. Like, do I just bring my own breakfast and coffee to the office, or no? That sounds so boring.
No, I don't like that plan. Maybe we don't have to do it every day, but I could not be more excited for someone else to cook a meal and make me coffee, because I have never in my life done this much cooking because it's every meal. It's like, and it's all 4 of us eating at home, which is not something that really ever happens. I mean, like when we go grocery shopping, I'm like, all right, what are the dinners? And then I'm like, oh shit, I gotta feed you people 3 times a day. This is insane. The dishes and it's ridiculous. I'm just like, somebody else cook, please. Please. Yeah, but it's been very nice. I'm thankful that during Justin's time here, he left us with Cajun seasoning, because I don't know what I would do without it. I'm finding little things that were hidden in the back of the cabinet from when you were here, and I'm like, thank God he was here, and I've got these things now.
What kind of Cajun seasoning is that? I'm interested.
I don't know.
I made and rice while I was there, and you can buy it all separately or just get it together in one thing, and that's what I use to like season the sausage and stuff.
Yeah, it's quite nice. There's some extra ramen I didn't know about too. That was bad. It was very nice to have those things. And I'm like, when did I buy this? Oh, nice. I did not. Yeah.
That is so fun. Next weekend, not this weekend, we're doing the AIDS Walk virtual walk here in Kansas City. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see how we connect ourselves that way for AIDS Walk on the 25th. So if you see any of your Kansas Cityites doing that, make sure to cheer them on from your little apartment.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So kind of one of my last kind of questions, because this lovely Zoom gives us a time thing. Are you growing out your hair, Justin? No, just kidding.
That will never happen again.
Yeah. That is so funny. What are you guys listening to? Any new musicals? Are you guys have you found any sort of art that you hadn't touched base with before? I started listening to the Prince of Egypt soundtrack, and it's all right. It's okay. But,
now, is that the new cast recording, or is that the original, the movie?
Animated.
It's the new cast recording.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I haven't heard that yet.
Give it a look-see, because it's interesting. It's like, right. The Prince of Egypt, Stephen Schwartz, Broadway. I was going to try and pull up a picture. That didn't work. Because, we can't do that. But it's interesting. It's weird to hear Broadway singers, sing that score, because in the movie, very much like Anastasia and stuff like that, there's kind of this disconnect of that. But to actually hear Broadway singers do it, I'm a fan of Stephen Schwartz. I dig his music.
Oh, I love Stephen Schwartz.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any new musicals or anything that I've been listening to. I feel like the newest thing is having the time to work on our own stuff.
Yeah.
That's been the best byproduct of this free time. I mean, you might watch our live show and think oh, it's silly and it's all off the cuff and whatever, but we spend a lot of time on all of the artwork for it and the planning it out, and he does a lot of research, and I write up, we each write up our own scripts for going into it. So that's been kind of a nice side effect of this. I'm sort of I'm tapping into those creative tendencies that I haven't been able to use in a long time.
Right.
And so that's been my art discovery during all this, is I like to make things.
Yeah.
I should keep making things.
Yeah.
Do you think that you'll continue to do some version of this after it's over and try and keep a portion of this sort of guerrilla art in your life? Or is this kind of just to fill the time now and you'll probably be happy to see it go?
Oh, I mean, I definitely won't be happy to see it go, because we've gotten so much joy out of it, and we've heard from so many people that it helps them you know, kind of feel normal for a few hours a week, or take their mind off of things, or help them relax. So it's been kind of therapeutic for us, and I think for some of the people watching. So I'm not excited to see it go. We have discussed when all this is over, if, you know, if viewership grows and grows, you know, doing some sort of version of it actually physically live somewhere. I mean, we have so many people in Kansas City watching with us each time.
It might be a good thing for the arts asylum at some point, possibly.
Yeah.
We'll be in
have a giant movie screen in our theater.
Well, you know, it's definitely something, if it doesn't continue in its current iteration, because, you know, people are going to go back to their lives eventually. Who knows what the world is going to be like on the other side of this, but we'll return to some sort of normalcy. So I doubt that people are going to be able to keep up with it. But if this kind of dovetails into some other project, or if we can continue something going in some way, I'm all for it, because we've been having a total blast, and it's kept us really grounded during this time.
Yeah, it's been really amazing to and it's really sort of sharpening my hosting skills. I haven't had a chance to really do that for a while.
Right.
You know, so I mean, it's kind of gotten me back up on my feet doing that sort of situation, and it's all, you know, it's live. We don't record any of it, so it's just sort of like, this is how it is, and this is how it's gonna look. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But it's also sort of like, you know, we have a soundboard now, we have props, we have all this stuff, and it's just really sort of like, you know, necessity is the mother of invention, and we're really just, as artists, like pulling stuff together and making it happen like old school style. You know, there's just sort of like, this is how it has to be, and here we are, and doing some really fun stuff. So I don't want any of that to go anywhere, and I'm excited about seeing what it morphs into from here on.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question I have, is like, just in life, is like, what are people who aren't makers and creators doing in quarantine? I'm like, what do you do at home?
They're watching creators and artists. That's what they're doing. Like,
they're realizing that maybe the world is a better place because there's artists in them and stuff. Yeah. Maybe we're getting our thumbs up from the nation, if you will. Okay, well, last two questions. Is there anything that you guys did not have an opportunity to say? Any sort of things that you want to like pimp, or be like, pay attention to this, or watch this person? This is your moment, you know?
I mean, you know, we have Quarantine Drive-In Live is Wednesday night and Saturday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Central for you guys. Friday night Fright Fest is at 10:30 Eastern. And then also, I mean, watch Daisy Bouquet's stuff if you ever get a chance to do it, because it's just, she's taking a little break, but it's always great. And then Kicking It with Katie G on Monday nights. What Molten does on Mondays before she reads books. There's so much stuff happening, and that's just like the tiniest tip of the iceberg. I can't even think of other things. Our friend Sutton Lee Seymour, a really good friend of ours, is a drag queen from New York. She's stuck in Puerto Vallarta doing live shows. She sings live. She's amazing. It's Sutton.
How do we find her thing to watch?
You can find her on Instagram and Facebook. It's Sutton, Sutton, Lee, Lee, Seymour, Seymour.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. She's great. She's really worth watching. She's just really fun and fantastic. So those are the things that we've been following along with.
And it's worth noting too, we have Facebook groups for both of our shows, Quarantine Drive-In Live and Friday Night Fright Fest. So if people want to find us on Facebook, just add yourself to the group. I've been improving everybody. So it's kind of nice because we've gotten to meet a lot of people, like friends of friends that we never would have met through other circles. So come and join us.
Brand new people.
Join us. And then my last question is who do you think we should interview? Who would you both love to tune in and watch and kind of learn a little bit about?
Is this a wild dream scenario, or is this like?
Well, I mean, here's what's interesting about this is we have the ability to do this in a much different way than we did before, where you actually had to come to the couch. So if we can get them on a Zoom call, then anything's possible these days.
I think it actually might be fun for you guys to interview Sutton. I think that she would love you, and I think that you would love her. I think she's wonderful.
Yeah.
And she's also good friends with Spencer as well, with Daisy. So, I mean, I think she's great.
Absolutely.
I would say
well,
do that.
I will get in contact with Sutton Lee Seymour and see what we can learn about that friends. Well, thank you both for being on the show today. I appreciate it. Yeah, I was waiting, you know, I think we had talked about trying to get you on the couch when you were here for Jesus Christ Superstar, and like just life fucking happens. So I'm really glad that we sort of got this opportunity to talk to you, Alex, and get to know a little bit of you as well. So
I appreciate it. I had a great time.
Yeah. So thank you for joining this week's Couch Chats. And next week we'll have a brand new friend to learn about.
That's right.
So,
we gotta take the picture now.
Let's take our picture.
We got less than a minute.
Oh God.
It's fine.
All right.
All right.
I couldn't do my
Thank
thumb.
you all. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.